Hey guys, it's Julien. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how I made my new EP, Phantom Thieves, which is out now on Reload Black Label. Really excited for you guys to hear this one. All the links for it are in the description if you haven't heard it already. And today I'm going to be talking about the production behind it and just kind of breaking down some important things from each track. So right here I have the title track, Phantom Thieves, in front of me. This is the project file. We got everything in here. And I'm going to start out by talking to you about the synths. So if you listen to this, you can hear we have a bunch of different cool synths in here. I'm trying to showcase everything. And yeah, I just want to talk about some of the stuff that's going on here and kind of how it's all working together. So the first synth sound here is this main lead, which sounds like this. Here are the notes. It's in G minor, and you can see it's pretty much just playing stuff from the G minor scale. Like we got G, it's just all notes from that scale. Most of these are in the G minor chord as well. Like G is the root note, A sharp is the minor third, D is the fifth. But yeah, with this one, it's more so just like having something that's really catchy and repetitive throughout the track. Like when you hear this, my goal is to make it that you can't forget it. Yeah, it needs to be very memorable like that. And the key to that is just making something simple and making something that is, something you can easily sink your teeth into. It's like, if we start making this super complicated, like let's say I'll just throw in a bunch of extra notes, like still notes in the key and still notes that would technically work musically. It's like even just at the beginning there, you can hear it like, it just throws it off when you try to do too much. So I think there's a lot to be said for just making something simple that works with only a few notes. And to be honest with you, this could be even more simple. Like this isn't even the best example of something that's simple, but I think it's something where again, it's catchy. When you hear this in the club or when you hear this track in a playlist or in a mix or something like that, it immediately grabs you. If you've heard it before, you immediately know what it is. And if you haven't heard it before, then it is very easy to remember. So for the sound on this one, it's made using Serum. It's just like a pretty standard super saw type of sound. You can see once the Serum goes. There we go. Yeah, literally just a saw wave, some white noise. I've got this filter, which is being automated throughout the track. We got like some chorus. I've got the phaser here as well. It's a good technique for making something have kind of a cool texture. Here's what this sounds like without the phaser. And then with it, you can hear it kind of gives it, it's almost like a filter. Like it's not so much an obvious phaser type effect where it's like moving really quickly, but it's just kind of like shaping the sound sonically. We've got some chorus as well, a bit of multiband compression. Then I've got this going through guitar rig. This is just for the delay. I think I've shown this a few other times. I really like that tape echo in there. I use it a ton. That's definitely my go-to delay. Got like some Valhalla room, this easy washout for the automations going into the drops and stuff. Got a drum bus fattening it up, another saturator fattening it up, OTT, and then an EQ8 and then the LFO tool on there, which is just in the drops. So yeah, like I said, that's the lead synth. There's also this one, which is like a bass that plays in the breaks. So this is a good example of something that's really simple. Like, this is only 3 notes, but it's just kind of like holding down sort of like the chord progression underneath this lead. This is a technique I've been using a lot as well in my techno tracks, is like having like a lead that you hear throughout the track. And then once we get to this point, like the breakdown, then having this bass line come in underneath it, which kind of recontextualizes it musically. Because now it's playing off of the notes that you're hearing in the bass line, but you haven't heard this bass line yet, so it's kind of like, all of a sudden it's like, oh, now it makes sense musically, So, yeah, and then for the sound on this one, it's also made using Serum. This one's honestly pretty simple, or pretty similar to the lead. You can see it's just a super saw, got a low pass filter which is automating, and then yeah, no effects inside of Serum. Pretty simple. Got a saturator, washout for the transition there, bit of drum bus, and then the EQ8. Pretty simple sound there. But again, this one is very much about like the theory behind it and like how it's working with the other elements in the track. You'll notice it's never just about like one sound, but it's always about like how it all fits together. The other synths here, we got like this M1, just like a nice drone kind of string sound placed throughout the track. I've got this pad as well, which is actually a sample from a sample pack. What I did was I brought it in here. Yeah, there's the pad. It's from this Crafted Techno sample pack. Just brought it in here, put it into the simpler. I've got it on the loop, and we have the fade, so it's like a smooth loop there. I got a bit of guitar rig for some space. I've got this like frost pump preset in here, which is just a bunch of reverb and delay and stuff. Auto filter, LFO tool. Yeah, pretty simple stuff there. I mean, like I said, the synths in this track are not that complicated. It's just a matter of like knowing how to stack it up and make it feel like there's a lot more going on there, or even just like, you know, make it feel very full with only a few elements. There's also like the stab down here. Just like your standard sort of ravey, gabber influence stab. We also got like this pad actually, which didn't make the final cut. Just some dark minor stuff. I'll play this. You can hear it sounds cool in the full mix. Especially when the note switches there at the same time as the bass line switching notes, but it just was too much. Again, it's all about doing a lot with as little as possible. I'll also show you like some of the other stuff in this track. We've got like the kick here. The kick was made a little bit differently. Usually what I'll do is I'll have it all in one track, but with this one, I actually made it in two separate tracks because we have like the main kick. This is just a kick from one of my sample packs. Yeah, there we go. It's from this Drum Code Techno video. And then I have like a second layer, which is the same one, but this is just the rumble. You can see we have all the rumble stuff on there. And then I have them grouped together. So, a little bit of a different way of doing it. But yeah, it's a pretty simple kick. It's just a very much just getting it to hit hard and getting it to sound really powerful. So that's pretty much everything I have to show you for Phantom Thieves. Let's move to the next track, which is called Direction. Alright, here's Direction. You can see, yeah, here's the project file. I'll show you some of the stuff with this one that I think is interesting is like the synth sound design. Like, for example, there's this synth, which you may have heard throughout the track. It almost sounds like a percussive kind of like metallic thing. And so the way this one is made is it's basically just playing this like droning note, just G, that's the key we're in, and then you can see it just goes up to like some extra notes here and there, kind of like playing chords. In the break it gets even crazier there. But yeah, and then what it is it's like the serum sound. Like it's just a simple pluck. You can see we just have a square wave going into a low pass filter like that. Really simple. And then what really makes the sound with this one is the resonator. So resonator, great thing. It comes with Ableton. I use it a lot. It's just a good way to give like sounds like this, kind of like a different texture. If I turn this off, there we go. It's just like a square pluck. But I have this tuned to G minor. That's the key that we're in. And then yeah, it's just kind of adding like this cool resonant thing over top of it. And it plays really well with the automation on the filter too. Like we have like this macro being automated here and stuff. And it's like all that movement going into the resonator makes a really interesting sound. I've also got that OTT on there, a bit of guitar rig for the delay, got some drum bus. Pretty standard stuff. I've got the Haas effect on this as well. We also have like the main lead, which sounds like this. So this is similar to what I was saying with Phantom Thieves. It's like making something that is simple and can say a lot with very little. So that's the idea here. It's just kind of like this pattern where it's like going down, descending, and then ascending at the end. And then we just have like a bunch of automation on that and stuff. This one's a pretty simple sort of super sauce sound. The key with this one is the octave down on this first oscillator. Because you can hear that's really giving it that buzzy thing to it. I've also got a phaser on there, just like doing sort of a filter like I was saying with that last sound. In the other track, we got chorus on there, a bit of distortion, a bit of EQ. Pretty standard stuff on here, but again, it's just about like making something that's really catchy and easily memorable like that. Then in the break, we have like this lead. So this is a very similar kind of thing. This is like two sounds. It's this one just going. And then this one. So again, just using these minor scales to make really creative and interesting and catchy synth lines. I'll also show you, like with this track, we have like our percussion bus here. You can see we have 3 layers on this main hi-hat. We have this one, and then the ride. So it's like more than just finding, you know, a nice sounding hi-hat. We've also got like some percussion up here. Got a little loop, some claps. We got the kick. There's also this thing which you hear throughout the track. This is just a thing from Contact Analog Strings by Output. I'll open this up for a second. It's just a preset. I guarantee you. I might have played around with it, but once this loads up, you can see, yeah, it's just playing like a long note throughout the track. Yeah, there we go. And I'm trying to be real and show you guys when I use presets as well. Like, there's nothing wrong with using presets. I mean, I use them in this track. This got released on a good label. You know, I use them in almost every track. Like, there's really nothing wrong with that. And I'm trying to show that to you guys. And also with using loops as well. But, like, yeah, so this one's just playing, like, a long G throughout the track. And the key with these is the filter automation. Like, the way we're filtering it in and out, I think, is really what makes this, like, stay interesting. And it makes it so, like, if you skip from this part of the track, or say, like, this part to this part, all that automation, even though it's pretty much the same things playing, the automation is what makes the track feel like it's moving and like it's changing and like it's going somewhere else. So that's pretty much all I got to show you for this one. We got one more track. Let's check out Untrue next. Alright, and here's Untrue. So this is the last track on the EP. And with this one, I'll show you just pretty much everything that's going on here. The first thing I'll show you is like this big break, I think, is definitely one of the main features of this track. And there are a few things that I feel are making it work the way that it does. Now, the first thing that's happening here is there's a lot of motion going on. If you listen to this, there are 3 main things that are really giving it this motion. It's this ARP, which is just constantly no. So that, you know, adds to the intensity a lot. There's also this, which is just the ride playing underneath everything, but that's definitely important as well. I think like having some drums going in your break is important. You don't want to have it just be the synths because it's going to lose the energy and it's not going to work like what I'm describing. And then there's also this, which is the synth that's playing throughout the track. And this is basically a pad. Like, it's meant to really just be droning. But what's happening is going dun, 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 dun. It's like switching between the 5th here. We're in D minor, so A would be the 5th, and then A sharp. 1 note up. And you're getting this like constant pulse, where you can hear when it goes up to the A sharp there, it's like almost a little bit uneasy sounding. You know, it has like this very dark feel to it. And that's just constantly happening while this other stuff is happening. So I talk a lot about things being simple. And obviously this isn't the most simple thing ever, but it's also a matter of like thinking about what your goal is. Like in this case, I wanted to make a big break where it really keeps that energy going and it really has like a lot of stuff to keep the intensity level there. Even though there isn't like the kick, even though there isn't all this drop stuff happening around it. So in this case, not being super simple works. And also, it's just a matter of, like, things fitting together really well. Like, if I played this ARP and the droning synth, they're not fighting for space. It's not like we have two things going da-da-da-da-da-da-da, or two things going da-na-na-na-na-na, constantly throughout the track. Instead, we have two very, very clearly defined things. So it's like if you're going to be not simple and you're going to have a lot of stuff, or you're going to have just, more than like a few things happening, you just have to make sure it all fits together really well like that. The other thing with these breaks are these parts. So we also have like all of these synths here. These are just pretty much playing around with like, simple stuff in D minor. Like I was saying, that's the key we're in. With some super saws. We also have like these. More super saw style synths. Again, it's just a matter of like giving everything its proper space. Like I wanted to make like a big lead like this in this break, but because there was already so much stuff happening, it's nice to just have kind of things like this where it's like it hits and then it rings out for a little bit, and then you get kind of more breathing room with that. So I'll also show you like this other stuff here. We have the kick in here. This is what the kick sounds like on its own. This is definitely one of my favorite kicks that I've made. So I want to show it to you guys. But basically, it's just like this kick. Pretty hard hitting sort of techno kick. We got it going through some EQ, a bit of saturator and fatten it up. And then I have the rumble rack here. You can see I experimented with some reverb, but ended up going with the delay. We got like delay going into a guitar rig. Usually I would use the amp simulator on Ableton for this, but guitar rig, it's doing the same thing. Where it's just kind of like distorting it, bringing out that low end. Just gives you a little bit of a different feel. Then we have an auto filter, and then I have an EQ8 cutting out some low mid range. And then I have this LFO tool, which you can hear and see is shaping it. And yeah, then we have this EQ8. This seems pretty drastic, I would imagine, but this kind of thing is actually pretty good for this. If I turn this off, you can hear. It's just not as punchy and tight and focused. So this really cleans it up. We also got a drum bus on there. A limiter kind of gluing the delay to the kick. A bunch more EQ. Again, the EQ, very important. Like in the videos, it may seem like I use a lot of EQ where I'll have like, 2 or 3 of them stacked together. But this is like 5 of them total. 6 of them total. 7 really if you count that auto filter. In one kick. So it's like, if it sounds good, it is good. You never want to limit yourself to thinking like, oh, I can't use this many EQs, or I have to use one EQ, or like, whatever it may be. Like, just keep going until it sounds good. That's really the thing I want you to take away from seeing this, what may seem kind of strange here. Another stuff in this track I'll show you, like the vocal sample. This is just from a sample pack, not trying to get those copyright takedowns. Yeah, just taking like a vocal sample. I'll show you the original sample so you can hear it.
And all of this is untrue.
Yeah, just like a simple vocal sample. There's also like this thing, which is a loop actually. Just like a hi-hat loop. Going through that resonator. So again, the resonator, really good way to take things to give them like an interesting flavor. There's this synth. Just another kind of like super saw style sound. Pretty sure that one started with a preset actually, it looks like. Got a bunch of effects down here. You can hear just kind of strategically placed. There's this kick. This is just like this kick for this part. I tried using the main kick for this part, but it didn't hit quite hard enough, so I just have this one. If I turn off the filter, you can hear. It's just like a pretty punchy kick, and then I filtered it up. And yeah, so that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you learned something by me breaking down this EP. I just wanted to kind of show you guys the process, show you like the mindset as well. I feel like there's a thing a lot of times when you listen to music, especially music that's like really underground and like just kind of being heard, I guess, like in a club. It can be hard to kind of perceive what like the mindset of the person was while making the music. And I feel like understanding that can help you kind of learn more from the music and be able to make your own and have it be improved by your experience hearing the music. So it's really the purpose of this video. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can check out the full EP in the description. Make sure to go stream that, run it up, go get it on Beatport as well. The link is down there. Really excited for you guys to hear this one. This was, some of my favorite tracks I've ever made. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.